Okay, well, hello everyone. Welcome to this session for SR UK, primarily for the conference in September, but the video will be able to access for long term. And I really hope that the facial stretch routine we're going to run you through on this session will be useful for you long term as well. My name's Gregory. I'm a physiotherapist working in the scleroderma team at Salford Royal, and we put a shout out to all of you members out there to see if anyone might like to volunteer to support us in this. And Una very kindly has volunteered some time for us to record ourselves doing these exercises together. Una, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe why you've volunteered?
Yes, I'm Una and I live in the north of Ireland. This is something that's been very passionate. I started fundraising for scleroderma when I was put on furlough last year. So I just wanted to raise awareness in the north and even all over Ireland for all the patients, because we didn't have a support group, and we now do because of that. So I'm very proud of that, and we've got about 70 members in the support group at the minute, so it's still growing. Added one last night, so yeah, all good.
Yeah, very good, great stuff. And I think that support group function is vital for all of us, and particularly if it's an area where it wasn't set up before. That's brilliant that you've been able to throw yourself into that. Yeah. So on this session, we're going to ask you to throw yourself into something different, which is having a go at these mouth exercises. So these are evidence-based from the research, and probably for about 20 years or so, these have been suggested and tweaked, and every bit of research that's been done shows they can help. We know the mouth is quite often affected in scleroderma, and where the skin tightens, you do lose movement with that. We can't promise you'll get all the movement back, but we know doing these exercises on daily routine, most people get some of the movement back. And, if your mouth doesn't open as well as it should do, there's a few things that you'd struggle with. And Una, we discussed this. I don't know if you want to come in with your experience.
Yeah, well, it's mostly for the dentist. I always blame his hands because they're too big. I told him I need a female dentist, but he can't get all his tools and stuff. I actually got a tooth extracted and it turned the side of my mouth. So it's quite a handling to get to the back of my mouth. But hopefully with the fat transfer and with exercises like this here, it'll improve and it'll get better for them.
Yeah, and I think that's in the top 3 of what's been found, talking to lots of people around the world with scleroderma. The limited mouth opening certainly makes your dental care more challenging, but also it's been suggested it can make eating tougher. It can even make talking a bit tougher depending on how tight the mouth is. So really something nice to focus on. And it's been found if you do this stretch routine 3 times a day, you'll normally gain a good amount of movement back. I'm yet to meet anyone who's committed to 3 times a day for the rest of their life, but even once a day is a nice little habit. And you'll see it takes maybe 5 minutes once you know the routine. You can do it anywhere. There's no equipment required. If you're watching this, please do feel free to join in with the unusual facial positions myself and Una are going to attain for you. Once you've learned the routine, don't feel you need to come back here to be taught it again. You can go off and try it by yourself, but bear with us as we take you through the next 10 minutes of getting this routine perfect. Now, we've not necessarily done a warm-up today. It could be you want to warm up the area. So some people use a warm, damp flannel or tea towel on there just for a few minutes to get the heat and the circulation going as best as it can. You could use a microwavable wheat pack, or for some people they do the stretches after a hot shower so the tissues are naturally warmed up from that. There are a series of 12 exercises. Each exercise we're going to hold for about 10 seconds, and it's suggested 10 seconds or more is long enough to stretch it. I've got a bit of a job because I'm going to do a bit of the exercises and also talk through what we're doing. So Una's committed to the 10 seconds per exercise. You'll see me doing a bit less, so excuse that. But if you could take it to 10 seconds yourself at home, that would be the perfect solution. So if you're comfortable and ready to start, we'll look at exercise number 1. And the description of exercise number 1 is to open your mouth as wide as possible. And for this version, we're allowed to have the lips move away from the teeth. And I should say 10 seconds does feel quite a long time. Now, what I forgot to say is if you've got mouth ulcers or sores in the area, perhaps just take it a bit gently, or find a time if you get one where it's more settled. Thank you, Una. That's a very long 10 seconds. Apologies.
Sorry,
So that's
I need a timer.
So that's the first one. The second exercise is very similar, but this time the lips stay wrapped around the teeth, so we can't see the teeth when we do that maximum mouth opening. So putting the lips around and then opening fully from there. Okay, thank you very much. So that's 10 seconds of that one. We're going to get our hands involved now. So hopefully you've got the hand function to be able to move the jaw a bit, which is the next exercise. And we know throughout scleroderma research that the best way to get things moving is to give it a pull or a push yourself, which isn't a very technical explanation for quite a complex scientific conclusion. So if you just pop your hand on the jaw there, you've got it kind of rested between the thumb and the index finger. And what we're doing is just pulling the jaw down. So it's the same kind of movement we've just done, but this time with an extra stretch. So take into that position. Okay, so these exercises get more and more unusual, I think, as we go through. You're doing okay, Una?
Yeah.
So everyone okay at home? I think we're hearing you saying yes. I hope we are. Okay, so the next one, we're going to look at pursing the lips, so stretching them a different way. And the idea is you push your lips together in a straight line and hold that stretch like this. Okay, for the next one, we're going to try and stretch all the tissues around the side of the mouth here. And this is our kind of hamster stretch, in that you're taking a deep breath in and then blowing that air into the mouth with the lips to close and holding yourself in that position again for 10 seconds. So. A bit of a breathing exercise, that one as well.
Right. I think I was making a noise there.
Okay. The next one is the nicest one for you to perform in front of your friends and family, although maybe you don't want to do this publicly, because the instructions are make an exaggerated smile. So we're looking at bringing the top lip up as high as possible and curling them round and holding that position for the 10 seconds. Okay, we're going to get our hands back involved, and we've already tried pulling the jaw downwards. Now we're going to take it to one side or the other. So firstly, we're going to take it to your left.
Sorry.
It's hard for us to know left and right, Una, isn't it? Because it's all mirrored in this Zoom feature. But as long as you've all gone one way, we're now going to go the opposite way for another 10 seconds. Now, there is a tendency for jaw joint pain for some people. So if that's uncomfortable, don't push too far. We are trying to stretch the skin rather than any of the joints around the area. Thank you very much. Now, the next exercise, we're moving slightly further down, and I don't know if this is your situation, but for some people, the skin tightness runs down below the chin and onto the neck there. And this stretch is specifically for that issue. So I'll just read the instructions first. We're going to open the mouth, look upwards, and then, keeping the head in the same position, bring the jaw up or close the mouth. So with the mouth open, we've got a decent stretch on the area, and then look up, keeping the mouth open. And then to really force the stretch on this tissue, close the mouth. And it should be tight all the way around here. Great, thank you very much. That was exercise number 9 of 12. So we're in the final straight here. The final 3 exercises go back to that scientifically proved theory that forcing the stretch is gets you better outcomes. So when these stretches were first suggested in 1984, it's the ones you've done. What we're going to go through now is something that came around more about 10 years later. I think it was mid-90s that the idea of getting your hands involved was added to the routine, and we know it gets better results for most people. It does rely on your thumbs working at a level where you can use them to stretch off your mouth, and also it's possibly not the nicest exercise to do in public or hygiene wise, so make sure your hands are clean. And what we're going to do is use our thumb to stretch the opposite side of the mouth. So for instance, on the first one, we're going to get right thumb into left side of the mouth and pull it sideways, again holding for 10 seconds. Okay, that's 10. We'll do the same for the other side. So it's left thumb into right side of mouth. And again, 10-second hold. Okay, and then the final exercise, we're doing the previous two, but at the same time. So we're pulling both sides of the mouth. It's probably easiest with your thumbs to put them in opposite sides and pull across. But if you want to use your fingers, that's an alternative. Should we try thumbs first, Una? I don't know if you've had a favourite yet.
Yeah.
So in that position. Okay. And we ought to do one exercise for free, so we'll add in with the fingers. So the same idea. If you've got the finger function, I know that index fingers are prone to ulcers or skin deterioration, but you can do it this way. So that completes the program. I say perhaps twice a day, 3 times a day would be ideal, but the best form of exercise you can do is something that you will do daily for the rest of your life. So starting off with once a day is probably sufficient to make sure you're still doing it in a month or 2 months' time. Una, how's that feeling to you, having gone through that today?
Yeah, it's really at the end with the mouth stretches I find the hardest, because I can't actually, there's no stretch, there's just no elasticity left there. So
and I think it's kind of pushing it as far as you can for comfort, but not going too crazy on these things. I mean, we're all probably a little bit pushed for time, and finding time to do these kind of things is a challenge. It could be, as you've described, Una, if the first 9 are kind of warm up for you, perhaps you do them, but maybe you jump straight to this, assisted stretch to reap the benefits from there.
Yeah.
So I hope you've found the video useful. There is some text accompaniment available, and perhaps we might have a leaflet of this, but video's the modern way. So I think this will be useful for you guys to have a think about how you use this and get into a routine. And do feel free to feedback via SR UK if you have any queries, additions, tips that you've found for your mouth stretching. And we really do hope this will make your next trip to the dentist easier, your eating easier, and your talking more easy and free flowing. So thanks very much for your time. Bye for now.
Okay. Thanks.